Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Michelle Dutrissa and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stamping Up in New South Wales. It's great you could join me today. Let me just pop my comments up. So if you'd like to jump on and say hello, let me know where you're from. That would be wonderful. Also too, if you are new to today and you've never watched me before, please let me know. And I might send you this card that we're making today. So, as I said, please jump on. Please also just check that you've given permission for StreamYards to show your name, and that way I know who's chatting. So, again, welcome. And let me just bring my camera in and flip it down. So it won't be one moment. Okay, then. So let me just straighten my camera up. Sorry, it looks like it's going a little bit crooked. There we are, nice and straight. So I hope you can all see that. As I said, please let me know your name, where you're from, and if this is the first time you have watched me, please say hello. And if you've said hello and put your name up there and where you're from, I will be sending a lucky one person this card that we're making today. If we have more than one new people, well, then we might have to send out a few cards. Okay, then, so this is the card we're going to be making today, and I'm using a few different products. I'm using the masks that, and I'll show you what I've done with these masks in a moment. The masks from our, I think it's in our annual catalogue. It's the Artistic Mix decorative masks. I'm also using the leaves of holly from the Boughs of Holly suite. So I'm just going to be actually using the dies from this. And I'm going to be using the sentiment from the framed and festive sentiments that have come out with, let me just bring it up so you can actually see it. There we go. So it's come out with the fitting florets. This particular stamp set is only available while stocks last, and that's this month, November, and through to December. Come January, you'll still be able to buy the other set, but you won't be able to purchase this set, nor the designer series paper, nor the gold elements that you can pop onto your cards as well. So if you want to know any more information about that, please let me know. So let me just go back to me again and remove those. And I'll just show you what I've done before I go through all of this with our card. Let me just bring up comments. Hi, Glenda. How are you? Happy birthday for the other day. Okay, so what I've done here is I've just cut a piece of cardstock around about the same size as my mask, and I've attached it up the top with a piece of washi tape. This is the first time I've actually done this, and I'm just mainly was trying this out because I wanted to see whether it gave me a better positioning for the cardstock underneath that I'll be colouring. And so far so good, particularly this one here where you can actually work these two together to get a plaid. So this is the card we're going to make. So I've actually used both of these masks to create this background. Okay, so we're going to get started pretty quickly, and I'm going to do the masking first, and I'm also going to do a little bit of this on the piece that's going on the inside. Now, you do have to be careful with this because it is very easy to get ink where you don't want it, hence I've got a little spot of ink up the top up there, and also all over your hands. So let me just grab in my piece of basic white. Now, I've cut this piece of basic white. I've taken my sheet of A4 cardstock and I've just cut it into quarters. So this piece here is 10.5 centimeters by 14.9, and I will cut it down at a later date within this class, of course. So I'm just going to take those out of the road. I'm going to start with this one first. and I have already got ink around, so I've got a little bit of an idea of where I want it. The other thing I do want to do is put a little bit of repositional tape on the back of it. This is an old one I've got, which I've had for quite a long time, but you can use your multi-purpose glue. You can also use your seal and then just sort of rub it onto your clothing a little bit to take off the adhesiveness, because this is something we want, just a repositional so we can sort of remove it. I'm only just putting a little bit there. I'm just going to line this up underneath my mask where I want it to sit. And it's just trying to get it everything nice and straight is the hard part, but I'm using the lines I've got on my mask as my guide. I just want to move that across a little bit. So basically at the moment, I'm just lining it up with these stripes. Now, I'm not using a Stampin' Up brush at the moment because all my brushes are out in the kitchen drying. So, and the ink that I'm going to be using here for this is the Parakeet Party. So let me just move my dies out of the road. And I'm only going to be inking up just a bit less than half, probably a bit more than a third of the card. Hi, Linny, how are you? So not quite half. I'm going to try to. I sometimes have a little bit of an issue of getting carried away, but I also don't want to have a straight line going across. I want it to be sort of a little bit of an angle. So I'm going to start off with this corner here because that's going to be my darkest corner. And as I get to the top, I want it to lighten up and peter out. So I'm going to start from here. And I probably should have taken some of that ink off my brush before I started. And I'm holding this down quite as firmly as I possibly can because I don't want that mask to move. So just reloading that. Just tap off a little bit of that ink off your brush just so then we don't get any hard lines on our card. And we're just going to go across that other corner. Now I'm going to start working up at a bit of an angle. Don't mind if I go up the side a little bit. Probably is actually closer to more half, but half on an angle. I want to darken this section over here a little bit, so I'm going to come in again and just tap a bit of that color off, and then again just brush that up. I'm not worrying too much about that being too dark because we are going to come across with the second mask. So I just want to lighten that a little bit more over my edges there. And I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to take that piece out. And while I've got this piece here, I'm actually going to bring in the piece that I'm going to use on the inside. Now, this piece I've actually cut down a little bit smaller, just because the fact I wasn't really thinking about it. But let's just see if I can get this. That's actually quite happy with that. And I haven't actually put any tape on the back of that. And all I want to do is just put a bit on the bottom of this one. So again, just tapping off a bit of that ink and just going a little across a bit at the bottom just to decorate the inside of my card. So I'm not being too fussy about that one. So once I'm happy with that, I can remove that. Now just be very careful. That's got ink sitting on your surface of the plastic, and you would need to clean that down. So I'm just going to pop that right out of the road and bring in my other one again. So I'm going to bring this one here, my card front, in again, and then position this. Now with this one here, I want to position these stripes in the middle. Actually, I'll put a little bit of that, bit more of that tape on the back of that. Maybe I'm running out of it. That's better. So I want to position these stripes down through the middle of those squares. So I've got it, this stripe's going through the middle of that square, but it's also going through the middle of that one there as well. And it does work out a lot easier doing that smaller one first and then coming in with this bigger one, because I can now see where I want to put colour and where I don't. So once I'm happy with that, again, I'm just going to go over this again. Just really following the areas that I've already put colour down. Now, this will brighten up some of those areas a little bit more. So I'm not wanting to put too much more colour in this section here, because I've actually petered out that colour quite a bit. So I'm just going very lightly over that area up there, because I don't want any more darkness there, but I just want to bring that plaid in a little bit, and I'm quite happy with that. Let's have a look, and there we go there. Okay, so I'm quite happy with the look of that, and we're going to bring this in and just do the same again. Just moving this down and around a little bit until I've got it in the position where I want it. And then again, just adding a little bit of that there, and not going too dark with colour along those edges. So that's our card insert done. So I can pop that one there right out of the road. Finished with this ink pad now. So I hope you're all having a lovely week, and I'll clean that off later on with just a damp cloth. It's been a bit cool here in the Southern Highlands. We've all of a sudden gone back to winter again. You must be feeling that too, Linny. Where you are, you're probably getting a little bit colder than what we are here. Okay, so there's my card front, and what I also want to do on this while I've got this here is we're going to stamp our sentiment. The sentiment that I've chosen is from this Framed and Festive, and I'm going with May this season be filled with peace and joy. I really love this font. I just think it's just such a fun font, and because this is not really a traditional card as in being in traditional colors, I wanted to have this quite a fun modern sort of look. And I'm going to stamp my sentiment in that white area. Now, I haven't got this on my block very straight, so I'm actually going to turn this around, and I'm going to just tilt my block a little bit, and I'm lining up the words with the grid paper. And I probably want that to go because I've still yet to cut this down. Probably should have cut it down before I got to this point, but I'm just going to take that in, and let's see how we go. Okay, let that ink set on that paper. Oh, probably just smudged it just a little bit. Probably just being a little bit too slow in getting that stamp down onto my paper, but otherwise not too bad. So let's just trim this down, because this is quite large, and I do want to trim it down to a size that I can match. And I'm going to trim this down to 9.7. So I'm going to take about half of that. I'm taking that down to about 10 centimeters there, but I'm going to take the other 3 mil off this other side. So I'll end up with a piece of 9.7. And I want to have this at 14.1. So I'm just going to trim probably just a little bit off the bottom, and I can take a little bit off the top. So that's my, just let me move that down so you can see it. So 14.1. So there's our card front and our card insert done. So we'll just move this out of the road. Get rid of all this rubbish here. Now the next piece we've got to do is we've got our card base. Our card base is in the Parakeet Party, and that's measured at 10.5 by 29.9, and I've scored it at 14.9. Just grab the bone folder and just give that a really good crease there. So that's ready to go. They're ready to go. And the mat that we're going to be using is polished pink. So I've already cut my mat down to 10 by 14.4 centimeters. And we're going to adhere our card front onto the front of that. Oh, you got sunshine today. And the temps are climbing. I don't think our temperature, actually, it's just a dirty window. I thought I was going to say it was starting to rain, but no, it's a dirty window. I don't think our temps are climbing here. I'm back actually in winter clothes. But last night I think was a little bit warmer than the night before. It's really funny that earlier this week we took all well, my husband took his doona off our bed and put it away in the cupboard, sort of thinking, I guess we won't need it. Actually, that might have been more towards the end of last week, but it came back out again the other day. Luckily, I still had my doona there. I wasn't quite ready to get rid of my nice warm doona, but he decided it was too hot, but then he had it back. Okay, so now we've got that on there. But it's been quite windy around here at the moment, so it's pretty cloudy outside, so maybe we are going to get some rain. So that's all mounted on that polished pink. And with this one, with our card insert, I've got a little strip of polished pink that I trimmed away from the other piece. And I'm just going to put a little bit of adhesive just along the bottom here of my card. Just run it very lightly across there, and I'm going to pop that on the bottom, just along the bottom there. And once that's dry, I'll put it aside and let that dry for a few minutes, and then trim that down. So we'll just pop that to one side. Now I've got here shaded spruce and another piece of polished pink. So we're going to do our leaves in shaded spruce. And what I've done here is I've just put a piece of adhesive sheet underneath, and I'm just using a couple of scraps here, and we're going to cut our dies, one leaf in each one, and run that through our mini cut and emboss machine. Now with the polished pink, what I've done here is I've added some adhesive sheet to the front and the back, so it's on both sides. And that's because what I've done here on my card is I've added some gold foil, and I'm going to show you how I've done that. So to do this, I've added the adhesive sheets both sides, and we're going to cut this piece, which is the berries, on up to here without any adhesive sheet, and we're going to cut the two of these, and we're going to cut this one here, which is the part that we're going to put the gold foil on, and we're going to cut two of those, and that's going to be on the double-sided piece with the adhesive sheets. So let me just bring in my cut and emboss machine. I've finished with that at the moment. Now, of course, if I had my big one, I could run all this through all together, but I'm just using the little one here because it does all fit nicely in your mini. And let's just run that through. Unfortunately, having the paper underneath it, it does slip around a lot. If I had it just on my table, it would stay quite still nicely. So we've cut that one out. We're going to cut this next one out. I just want to make sure that I've got that on my adhesive sheet, and that's just going to help us to adhere all those little bits onto our card front. The adhesive sheets are something that we don't always think about using, but they are really good when we've got dies like this, which are quite intricate. And it actually makes your cardstock that little bit thicker, and so it actually even can cut through better as well. So that's that leaf done, and now we've just got our berries. And remember, we've got to cut this twice. So I want that one there and that up here. Now, I don't have any adhesive sheets underneath that berry piece, just for the fact that I'm actually going to glue one of those on, but the other one is going to be attached using, whoops, let me just get that on my plate a lot better, attached using dimensionals. I've got to put this sometimes through staggered because it is a tight fit getting that through. So there's our first one of that. And let me, whoops, not lose that piece. And let's just get these berries out. And we want to do that again. Okay. So we just pop that right out of the road. Need that little piece, and we'll just put them away so they're right out of our way. So let's just remove all these pieces. I'm going to use my take a pick tool for this. Pop these pieces out. Got that one and that one. I'm just going to push out these big pieces. Not worried about getting all those little pieces out just yet. I'll do those in a minute and I'll explain why. Get our leaves. This is probably the most time-consuming part, is actually sometimes taking this out of the piece there. These should all pop out. Now, you might find that this is cut through the cardstock, but not necessarily has it always cut through the backing on the adhesive sheet. So just very gently pull off those big pieces. There's the first leaf done. Just pop these pieces over here so we don't mix up the rubbish with the pieces we do want to keep. I love it when these want to come out really easily, which is what this one is doing. It's coming really well. Okay, so that's all out. I'll just sweep that all to one side. And we're going to bring in our card front. Let's have it up the right way. Now this leaf here, I'm just going to peel the backing off this. Now sometimes it's easy just to use your take a pick tool to peel that backing off. I cut all my fingernails a week or two ago, so it just means that I can't get my nails in there anymore. There we go. And then we're going to work out the position we want this leaf. So we want this one to come probably across and up towards the sentiment like that. Take our second one. Something stuck on my finger. Now it's up to you whether you want these crossed over or not. Probably going to see if I can lift that a little bit and just move that just a little bit more across. And that one coming up there like that. Once you're happy, just give it a really good push down. Okay, so for our berries. So I'm just going to peel the backing off one side of this. And now that I've got that backing off, I'm going to knock out those little holes because I don't want them on this card, and just flick them away. Going to take our piece here and we're just going to lay this on top. So you just got to work out the right position and then lay it over the top. Give that a really good push down. And then we're going to do the same with this other one. So just get that backing off. Move all those little pieces there we don't want there. And again, position that right on top of that. Now here comes the fun part. Now for this, I'm actually going to use the brush that came with the embossing kit that's in the mini catalogue at the moment, or you can use a paintbrush that has got firm bristles but still soft. Okay, you want something that you can stipple a little bit with. Okay, so I'm going to bring in my gold foil. just open that up and let that lid, hold the lid above it just to let it settle, because that gold foil, if you breathe on it, will go all over the place. So what we're going to do here is remove the backing now off the front of our berries, and we're going to pop this in upside down. And I'm going to do that with both of them. And what's going to happen is the gold foil is going to adhere to that adhesive sheet. And pop that down in there. And I'm just going to use a pair of tweezers here just to give that a little bit of a push and to help get that out. At the moment it just looks all furry. We can pull some of this excess foil off, but we just want to be very gently, because we don't want to pull all that foil off the areas where we've got the adhesive. And what the brush is going to do is it's just going to help us just to brush away that excess foil back into our box. But because it's a firm brush, it's also pushing it all down onto the adhesive sheet. Brush it away or pull it away at the back a little bit. And just keep working around that. So I'm sort of stippling, which is going straight down on it, but also brushing at the same time. So the stippling is actually pushing the gold foil down onto the adhesive part of the berries, but the foil is, the brushing part of it is brushing away that excess. Now, once we've done that, we can finish that off again in a little bit moment. We'll just grab this second one. Just remove, still got some sticky areas there because my finger got caught on it. So again, just using that brush just to push down, but also brush away some of that excess. You've got areas there that didn't get any gold on it. I'm going to show you what we do there, because sometimes that adhesive sheet, when you're putting it onto the cardstock before you've die cut, if you're not careful, it actually gets onto your fingers, and so sometimes not all the areas get covered by adhesive sheet. Now I've got areas here I want to try to remove that foil. Just going to use my tweezers here just to remove a little bit of foil in here that shouldn't be there. Okay. And I've now got foil all over my fingers where I had a bit of glue. So let's just get rid of this. So what I'm just going to do here is just go over this again with my brush. I'm pushing down as well as brushing. Now, I don't know whether you can see it, but I've got an area just here that for some reason the adhesive sheet didn't actually stick on. So I've got a little bit of an area there where I've got no gold. And I just want to just use my tweezers there just to take away some foil that I don't want. Actually, even just a loose bit of the foil just there. And to sometimes, whoops, where'd it go? There we are. The brush will actually even shine that foil area up a little bit. So there's that one. Hi from Alberta, Canada. How are you? So is this your first time watching me today, or you've been on before? Okay, then. So there's our other one. So this one here is pretty much perfect. So the adhesive sheet covered the whole area. This one here has probably got one little area here that the adhesive sheet missed. So we've got no gold foil. So what I'm going to do is this is going to be the one I'm going to position on the bottom. And this one here, we're going to position it over the top. So you're going to, we'll have some effect, something similar to that. We'll play around with it a little bit. So you won't notice that some areas have got gold foil on it and some areas haven't. Okay, so let's finish putting our card together. I've got foil everywhere, which is what happens when you use this stuff. That's why you don't want to breathe too hard. So we've got our card base, got our insert here, which needs to be trimmed. Yes, first time and cold as the wind is very cold. Well, we're supposed to have warmish weather here. We're heading into our summer. And here in New South Wales, we've got a cold chill going through. So when we're supposed to be having warm weather, we're probably out in sympathy with you in Alberta and having some cool weather. So this is our card insert, and we're going to adhere this inside our card. So what we've done already is we've used our masks and our blending brush, and we've added some masking onto the bottom of our card, and I've added a strip of the polished pink along the bottom. So this is going to go on the inside of our card. So we've got somewhere to put our text to whoever we're sending this card from, or card to. And since this is your first time, you'd rather have the warmer weather? Yeah, we do too, but it's being a bit funny at the weather's being a bit funny at the moment, but that's okay. It'll hopefully warm up very soon. And then we'll probably have very hot weather and we'll be wishing that we had cold weather. But since this is your first time watching me today, this card will be posted out to you. So I will send you a message via, you're watching via YouTube. I'll send you a message on YouTube, and you can email me your address and I'll pop this in the mail to you. Okay, so we're going to pop this part here on the front. So we've done the same masking on the front. We've stamped our sentiment up the top there, and we've also adhered two of the holly leaves from Boughs of Holly suite. So we're just going to pop this down again flat on our card. And that can be positioned right there. Is that a good rub, just to make sure that that glue is not just in one spot but pressed everywhere. That's all lined up nicely, which is good. Now, I was playing around before with some gold thread. This is not a Stampin' Up product, but we do have something very much similar to it. And all I've done is I've just taken a length of it and pulled some gold threads out of it. So I just want a little bit of gold trim in here. I didn't actually do this on my original card. So I just want to, whoops, probably grab a couple of these together. And I just need this one here, which doesn't have, it's got that little bit of gold missing. And I'm just going to pop a little bit of seal on the back here. I'm just using the Seal Plus at the moment because that's the first one I grabbed. Whoops. I'm also going to put a little bit of multi-purpose glue on there. Just popping that on there so I can just add some of this gold thread that I've pulled away. And I'm just going to loop this around a bit. Just wanted to give a little bit of, don't usually do a lot of bling, but I just wanted to have a little bit more bling coming from underneath my berries. I'm just going to trim away those tails because I don't like those tails hanging off. Now we're just going to work out, we want, because this is the part where we haven't got the gold foil on, so we do want that to be probably over that side. So we'll grab our multi-purpose glue. Pop some of that on the back. And then we can pop that. Oh, whoops, just doesn't want to stick. Let's just hold that down for a few seconds. You can actually pop a block down on top of that just to let that adhere. So what I might do is, I've put 2 strands of gold thread on that one. I'm going to put just 1 strand on this one because I just want to give it a little bit more gold, but not as much as I had on the one below because that's still going to show through. So again, all I'm doing is just looping it around and it's pushing it down onto that little bit of seal that I've popped on the back there. And we are going to put dimensionals on the back of this, so that will help hold that down. Let's get rid of that tail. So let's just pop a couple of dimensionals on here. I'm just using up some of my end bits around the edges, and that will also help to hold down that foil. Oops, that really didn't want to stick, did it? Stuck to my block instead. Let's see if we can save this. Okay. Oh, it really didn't like that. Let's just try all that again. So let's just wrap that again once more time around there. Now I've got glue all over me. That's fine. Best laid plans, but that will work out in the end because I will make it work out. Let me just get rid of some of this glue. There we go. It's a little bit tackier now, so it will actually stick. Taking the backings off this. And we do want to hide that part there where the gold foil didn't go. So I'm just going to use my tweezers again just to help me position this. And we're going to lay that straight down there over the top of that one like that. Okay. So that will take a little while for that to dry because it just didn't like that bit on there. Now you could, if you wanted to, and I'm not quite sure what bling you could add if you wanted to add some bling on here. So let's just have a quick look, see if we've got anything that's suitable. Since I've added a little bit of gold, we might as well keep going. Could add those. Or we could add these ones. Let me just have a look. This is around here somewhere. There they are. I was given a tip not long ago to open up the sides of your packets that your embellishments come in, because then you can just easily slide them in and out sideways, and it does work really well. So let's have a look. I'm looking at using these gold ones here because we've sort of got a little bit of gold there, but I probably only want to use the small ones and just bring up some of this gold, maybe one there. Only wanting to add 3, maybe one there. I think one just down here, just to sort of tie the whole thing in together. So there we go. Pop that lid on my glue so it doesn't dry out. Pull that to one side. So there's my card. So there's the card I made a little bit earlier today without my bling. And there's my card with my bling on it. So I hope you have liked that card, and I hope you can give it a go. So it's well worth having the patience and playing a little bit with the masks, because you probably do need to practice that a little bit. I mean, it did take me a few. You didn't see my ones that didn't work went straight into the bin earlier today, but well worth having a bit of a go. And it's quite a sort of, it gives you a bit of a more of a modern take on a traditional look. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope I can see you all next week, and I will catch up with you all later. And one lucky person has got this card, and that's, now I'm not quite sure what M stands for, but that's M. Wyman. So I'm going to message you via YouTube, and if you can send me your address, I will post this card, one of these cards, out to you. So have a lovely day, and we'll see you all next Friday with another Create a Card with Michelle. Thank you very much. Bye for now.